it's finally here. I mean, we've got new games, stunning new visuals, amazing frame rates, and ray tracing, like in everything, even Minecraft, although we haven't got that yet, so. Let's start with the PS5's design, because you've got this very curvy and matte white finish which just makes it look so clean. It matches the controller and all of the other accessories like the charging dock, you've got the headset. It just looks next gen, and it is really a statement piece. Like if you walk into someone's room, you see a PS5 in there, you know exactly what it is. So it is really nice to see. If you look at the back of it, you've got 4 ports. You've got the HDMI, the LAN, and 2 USBs, and on the front you've got another USB-A, and as well as the only USB-C on the PS5. And this is for fast data transfers. You could plug an SSD into this should you want to put your PS4 games onto the PS5, or just store them on there in general. And these USB ports do support fast charging for the controllers. But this thing is a big boy. I mean, this thing is huge. It weighs in at about 4.5 kilograms. And it's actually so big that it's taller than my dog, as you'll see. But why is this? Well, it's because it's got 10.3 teraflops of graphics processing power inside, running on AMD's latest RDNA 2 technology. And because of this, it needs a big cooling system from this high power output. But despite this, it's still efficient. It still only has a 350 watt PSU, which is nothing compared to what my computer would need. As far as I'm aware, it's at the moment going to be using about 750 watt power supply, which is over double. But the seamless UI, it just makes navigating games way more efficient, and the user-friendly interface is just so much easier to use. For example, if you go on the game switcher, you can just switch seamlessly between games. If you also go under the game switch, you can select the game hub, and then you can purposely select missions in games, or where you've got up to your progress, such as in Astro's Playroom. I can just select part of a mission and go straight there without having to load up the menus of the games or go through that faff. But the integrated PlayStation Store and PS Plus collection means that when you get in, it's easy to look at new games if you want to buy them, or if you have PS Plus with the collection, you can go in and download some free games which are in this collection for you to enjoy. And I'm pretty sure there's quite a lot. There must be at least over 50. Anyway, how does it perform? The load times on the PS5 are insane, really. If you load into a game like Control, which has just been converted into a PS5 version, previously on the PS4 it would take over a minute to loading. Now on the PS5 you're looking at just over 7 seconds, which is a dramatic increase if I say myself. The frame rates, we're looking at 120Hz in games like Rainbow Six Siege and Fortnite, which makes the gaming experience so much more fluid, and the control latency is reduced significantly, just making the game overall smoother. The graphics, if you're on a 4K monitor, obviously playing a 4K game, you can read text on a screen in-game from probably about 3 meters away from your character, which is, I'd say, expectable for true 4K, and it's very delightful to look at. Of course, ray tracing is another new feature to the PS5. Although it does knock frame rates down a lot, it's a very nice option to have in some games like Control, if you can deal with that 30 FPS block that they'll put in place. However, it does give you better immersion, but on the downside, of course, the game is more choppy and the controller latency does go up. Things I've noticed whilst using the PS5 is due to the SSD and CPU, just downloads in general are quicker. And this is obvious from day one when you go to download a game. Obviously, when you get it day one, you will have Astro's Playroom installed, which you can jump in straight away and start playing, which is a nice feature, I think, because obviously you don't want to be waiting 2-3 hours spent on your internet to download just a game to play when you've just got your PS5. And Astro's Playroom is a great way of showing off all the features, so I highly recommend playing that as soon as you go on your new PS5. Also, downloading during games. I know on the PS4, you start a download, let's say you want to download Warzone, you then go and think, oh, well, I've got to wait for it to download, I'll go on I know, Minecraft or GTA, and then you notice that from the game, which would probably take about 2.5 hours to complete, is now saying about 7. And this is because of the hard drive in old consoles isn't quick enough to download games whilst streaming game data. So with the new SSD and CPU, this just makes it seamless to download games whilst playing games. The speed isn't affected overall, unless the game that you're playing requires a lot of internet. And 3D audio, that is one of the most underrated things, I think, of the PS5 in general. 3D audio makes such a difference to games, and to be honest, I was actually blown away. When I first got my PlayStation 5, I put it down the stairs, I plugged it in, because I didn't want to take it up yet, because I wanted to move around all my monitors. I plugged it in, I went on Astro's Playroom, and I was playing it through the TV. This was silly of me, because I forgot that these games have 3D audio. So I went upstairs, I got my headphones that I've got now, I plugged them in, and instantly I was blown away, because I was on Astro's Playroom playing the first game that I'd ever played on it. And you can tell exactly where people are. And now what is it? Because it's all good me saying that it's 3D audio. Basically what it is the audio from the game goes through a algorithmic process, and when you go to set up 3D audio, you pick what sounds most natural for you. So I go in, I picked the audio profile that sounds best for me. For me, it sounds the most flat. It doesn't sound high pitch, it doesn't sound low pitch, and I think that's how you're supposed to pick it. It would be nice for them to give a bit more of a description on how to pick it, but that's what it says, is pick the most natural one, so that's what I picked. Anyway, it means that it customizes the audio for your audio preference and your hearing from when you pick the profile. So when you're in a game and someone's steps just off in front of you to the left, you know it's just off in front of you to the left. Or when you're playing Astro's Playroom and you can hear all the bots chatting around you, you know exactly where they are chatting, and you can hear it pinpoint location, which is different from stereo, because that would just be louder in one ear and then slightly louder in the other, so you would be able to tell it's coming from that general direction, whereas this is pinpoint because it knows the delays between ears and pitch, and there's so many limiting factors that go into it, and it is really underrated and really nice to experience. I want to talk about the controller, but I'll keep this short and sweet because I want to do this in another video where I talk all about the controller. So the controller has new haptics, which you'll be able to hear in the left and the right side of the controller. This is strange because if you do the Astro's Playroom controller demo, bots will go in the top of the controller and you'll be able to feel them bouncing around the inside of the controller. That's how accurate it can be. The mic in this is good, but it's quiet for what it is. I mean, your teammates will be able to hear you, it's just you'll be very, very quiet, but it is nice and useful that you can hear them coming out of it if you don't have a headset on. The grip of this is very good. You've got little etched PlayStation symbols on the back of the controller. They're very small, but they make it look very nice and are very effective at giving you good grip. The adaptive triggers, like, wow, these are the main reason I would tell you to get a PS5 just over even other consoles like the Xbox, or just in general just get one, because when you're playing games like the new Destruction All-Stars, when you go to brake, you'll get a braking sensation in the brake trigger, the left trigger, as if you were squeezing a brake pedal. So this trigger will stiffen up and you'll have to squeeze it as if you were braking. The same applies for if you were driving forward and then you wanted to reverse. This one you'd have to squeeze to go back forward again. Also in that game, because your vehicles take damage, if you pop a tyre from damage, you will then feel the bumpiness through this trigger and this trigger where it's bumping your car. So this is a nice indication, and it's good that they're using these sorts of features. What are my overall thoughts? Overall, I think the controller haptics and adaptive triggers paired with the immersive 3D audio make playing games on the PS5 just really enjoyable and immersive to play. And with the graphics coupled with the load times, it just makes it more fun and less hassle, especially when downloading games compared to last gen consoles. And like the UI, it's very useful, and Spotify integration as well is great, so in games you don't even have to launch Spotify, you can just go into the quick menu and select a song, start playing, and we get PS exclusive games and the PS Plus collection, which gives you tons of free games. Also, don't forget you get Astro's Playroom for free, so that's another great game you just get straight away. What I suggest is if you want a PS5, get one as soon as you can, but if you have to wait, it's worth the wait. Don't go to a scalper, obviously. Just wait and get it retail price, that's all I can recommend. But if you've made it this far, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can unsubscribe at any time should you wish to. Also leave a like if you enjoyed the video. But until the next episode, I'm Max, and this has been a Two Loud Men Tech Review. I'll see you.